Welcome to the Geometrix package for Unity, in which you will be able to create different geometric objects in a grid that is dynamic. As you can see here, I can zoom in with my mouse wheel and it will change the scale of the grid, and if I zoom out it will happen the same. So you have an infinite grid here that you can use for drawing, and you can also drag to the left, to the right, and to the top and to the bottom of the screen. So let's just explain a little bit how the different buttons on the top work. The first one is a point. A point is just a game object that will be the basic structure that you need for building the other ones. So let's create 3 points, as you can see here, and then you can deselect the point feature by selecting the arrow, and you will be able also to move accordingly in space. Notice that the points remain the same size while zooming in and out, so that gives you a more attractive way of displaying the different game objects. And the next feature is the line. The line needs 2 points, so you have to click on one point and another, and it will create a line. You can do that with different points in order to create different lines, as you can see here. And we have created a triangle by merging 3 different lines and 3 different points. But this triangle is not a polygon. In order to create a polygon, you need to select 3 points by using this feature here. So let's undo what we have done. So you have this button here that is going to undo the different game objects that are being created, and then select the polygon button here. So we're going to create one polygon that is going to be set from this point to this point to this third point and to the previous one. So that should create a polygon, as you can see here. So it's going to be a triangle, and you can also zoom in and zoom out, and it's going to remain with the same appearance. The last feature we can draw in this Geometrix package is a circle. So if you add another point here and you select the circle, you'll be able to create a circle, as you can see here. And now let's talk about the scripts. Go to the Geometrix scripts folder and you will find the following scripts. This one's here. The action script contains the different actions that are called whenever we click on the buttons, and it manages also the movement of the mouse on space and the instantiating of the different game objects inside the package. The create circle creates a circle of different small elements that are cubes, which have a scale proportional to the angle of the number of divisions of the circle. The create polygon generates a polygon in function of the points that are selected. Generate grid creates the initial grid. For example, when we click play, the grid is generated by that script there. And finally, the move by drag generates the movement, as you can see here, of the camera. Then we have the GUI zoom, which is a script that adjusts the scale of the game object in function of the distance to the camera. And the triangulator is a free script which is used to triangulate the different meshes when we select different points in space. So let's check how to use the script. The move by drag is attached to the main camera, and it has different parameters, as you can see here. And if you open the script, we'll see the different ways of moving the camera in space or zooming in or out. So for example, let's open the move by drag here. We have two ways of calling the input scroll wheel, as you can see here, when it's positive and negative. And then what we do is change the zoom factor. The zoom factor is going to generate that movement of the camera from top to bottom. And then what we are doing too is checking the drag, as you can see here on drag, and changing the mouse position, the camera in function of the mouse position. So that's how that script works for the camera. Then if we go to the axis, we have the generate grid. The generate grid is quite simple to understand. What we do is we calculate the different limits of the grid thanks to the field of view of the camera, as you can see here. And with that, we generate different lines for the left, the right, the top, and the bottom part. So each of those parts are composed by these elements, which are a prefab line 2 and a prefab line. So the prefab line 2 is going to be the gray, these small gray lines here that are 5 between one division, and the prefab line here, the normal one, is going to be this one that is gray but is harder. Okay, and that's how the grid generator works. Then each of the game objects that are instantiated have attached to them the for example, these ones here that are static ones have attached the this geozoom. So this is used, as you can see here, in function of the scale that has at the beginning, and is going to change the scale in function also of the distance to the camera. Okay, so that's how the geozoom works. Let's check how the panel works. So the panel has the actions game script. So we have the point prefab that are going to be the prefabs that we have already inside the game for the point, the line, the circle, and the polygon. And then we have the on button and the selected points. So in fact, when we are creating points, when we click on the button here, it's going to call a function inside the actions. Okay, so it's going to call this function here at the bottom. There's going to be select point here. So it's going to check the select prefab as the point prefab. And then in script, whenever we click on the, as you can see here, we click on the screen and we have selected the point prefab, the game object that is going to be instantiated is going to be the selected prefab, that is going to be the point, and it's going to be positioned next to the point we are pressing with our mouse button. So for example, by clicking there, it's going to create a select prefab in that point. When we click another time, it's going to create another point. And in fact, as we are saving inside the history go, it's like the history game objects that we're creating, we're able to undo the the creation of the game object by destroying it. So let's just talk about how lines are also created. The lines, whenever we click on the line button here, what we're doing is calling another time to the function select line, this one here. So in fact we're selecting another prefab. And if you check what happens when we have the game object line in space here, what we're doing is checking first that we have selected the line prefab, and then we are seeing if we are pressing one game object or another. And whenever we have two game objects that are pressed, as you can see here, we're able to create a select prefab that is going to be the line. Okay, so you can see here in the action script, first selected and second selected. So whenever we click here in the point, you will see how we have the first selected game object here, and whenever we click to another point, we have the second selected that had appeared as a point. Okay, so the next thing is going to be the circle. The circle happens to be similar to the line, but has a different script that is managed by inner part of the game. So it needs 2 points too. So whenever we select one point here, another point is going to create a circle, as you can see. Okay, but we have to go to the circle clone here to understand how it's composed. So it has the create circle script that we're going to open it really fast. So the create circle, what it does is draw a circle by using a small angle that is going to be obtained by the division of the number of elements we want to add. By default it's going to be 50. So what we do is obtain the position, the rotation of each element, and finally we instantiate the prefab differential circle. The prefab differential circle, it's just, as you can see here, it's a square, well, a cube that has a differential height, and then we have the width and the other dimension set to a value that is going to be modified by the script. Okay, so that's all regarding the circle. And finally, we're going to check how the polygon works. So for the polygon, the scripts work a bit different, because if you go to the actions and you check the part of the polygon that is going to be here, what we do is we use an array of game objects, and we compare, as you can see here, when the game object that we have pressed is different from the beginning. That means that we are able to make like a loop of points, and whenever we get to the very first point, we are able to close the polygon. So let's just click in this point here, 1, 2, 3, and another time to the first one. I'm going to repeat it because it didn't work properly. Let's press 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now it works. So it has created a triangle using the different elements, in this case point elements. So what you can see here in the polygon clone, it's that has a script attached to it that is called the create polygon. So the create polygon, what it does is created a mesh using the points that you have passed in 2D. So let's open it, create polygon. So it has this parameter here that is going to be the vertices, and in function of that vertices are going, well, the script is going to create, thanks to the triangulator also script, is going to create the different indices and different meshes that are needed to display the new game object, and it also is going to create the different lines that are around it. So that's how the script works for this package. I hope you enjoy it. Um, the the possibilities of using this package are multiple, because as you can see, we can almost create any shape we want. For example, let's try to create a polygon. So the different solutions. Okay, now the different solutions are quite interesting. I hope you enjoy this package. I hope you consider downloading it.